Hello, people, and welcome to another episode of the Tech of Tomorrow podcast, the podcast where we believe that the tech of the future are the humans behind the tech and building the future. Before we begin, as usual, housekeeping notes. Remember, if you are on YouTube, the channel is pretty new. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment. If you are on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, the original podcast apps and platforms, please follow the show, leave a comment, leave a rating so I can keep bringing cool guests on the show, which brings me to the guest we have today. Our guest today is Valeriya Pilkevich. She is an AI and marketing consultant, and she is the CMO at mixNmatch, an AI styling platform designed to revolutionize the way we search for and buy clothing. Also, quick mention about mixNmatch. You will learn more about it, but they are launching already next month in January, which is when this show will come out, by the way. So they are launching this month. Keep an eye out, Google them. You will find her links in the description below for her LinkedIn, which is massive. So we will learn everything about Valeriya and her business today. Welcome, Valeriya. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Sebastian. Really love to be here and chat with you.
Very happy to have you here too. Listen, I did a deep dive on your LinkedIn profile, on your background, and I got a few questions for you. So, would you like, before I dive into the questions, would you like to give the audience a couple sentences of overview about yourself?
Sure, of course. Yeah, my name is Valeriya. I'm CMO of mixNmatch. It's a fashion tech startup from Frankfurt, which we're going to discuss today more in detail. And from my background, it's marketing analytics and marketing automation. I've been working in big companies for Fortune 500 clients at Kantar, helping them to optimize the ROI of their marketing investments, also working with big data, with AI there. And when there was a boom with ChatGPT a couple of years ago, I started digging deep into generative AI and automations with AI, and there were actually got on the path of freelancing and did also a few projects, also AI trainings in this area. Really love how you can simplify the processes or actually automate the processes now. Basically, I cannot imagine like running the business even 5 years ago, and today it's a completely different story. So that really excites me the most. And mixNmatch, basically, it's fashion tech company, and what we do is we're developing the solution basically for product discovery with the help of AI. And obviously, we're using as well AI as a part of our core. We're using a lot of AI and automation also to just optimize not just the product, but also the processes. Basically, everything we do, we try to first think, okay, can I do it? Or do I actually have to do it? Or can I set up a process that it's done automatically? Or can I use AI to simplify it or to make it faster or to have a better ROI, obviously?
Which drives me to ask you the very first question I had for you. How did you get into marketing? And this as a follow-up, but I will just let you tell that story first.
Yeah, thank you. So I was actually studying marketing at the university or marketing analytics. It was like 7, 8 years ago. I did my master's, and it was a very hot topic because, you know, there are many sides of marketing, and I believe that today marketing professionals, you cannot just create content, or you cannot just look at the KPIs, or you cannot just, you have to be like, let's say, experienced in every area or know what's going on. And I think a lot of marketing is actually the analytics and the numbers, because obviously you can do many different things. You can create content, you can pay for ads, but if you don't understand what's going on and if you don't understand the numbers and the data behind it, you won't go far with your marketing activities. So this is something that was always interesting for me. So that's what I actually studied in the university and later did as well on the job. And then again, when AI hype started, then I was like, okay, now it's a completely new game.
So it was the analytics part that you already loved that led you to AI?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And basically AI is it cannot really exist without the data. So I think like it is really well well combined.
How do you see the fact, because I've been having this feeling, I was in the brand space for a long time, so I've been having this feeling that the marketing space, everything related to marketing got immediately commoditized and probably lost 50% of its perceived value the moment ChatGPT hit the market. How do you see that? Do you agree? And if you agree, how do marketers fight commoditization of their skills and their craft?
I don't really agree with that. Of course, you can use generative AI to create content, but again, it's all about the quality at the end. And this is something we observe nowadays, also on LinkedIn or blog posts. Indeed, they're getting commoditized because many are getting now created with AI. But then it doesn't make sense if there's too much content, but people do not read it because it's it sounds maybe artificial or there is nothing unique in it. So I think indeed it is a threat, but I don't think that the qualities or the marketers will go away something. Of course, the skills might change, and I think we should use as well AI to help us, but we should not rely 100% as well on AI in different aspects. Also, like in content creation, I believe you can use it to brainstorm or even to create a sort of draft, but then it's up to up to us to add our human touch. And also only if we talk, for example, about copywriting, only if you know how to maybe pure human psychology, right, then you can create a powerful copy that actually will be emotional. Or if we talk about conversion copywriting, that will trigger people to, for example, buy something. AI might be able to replicate it, but I don't believe it's there yet, or it will be there. I think it's up to us to actually add this human touch. But of course, for some parts, for some processes, I believe AI is great and automation is great.
I agree, especially when it comes to even design. You notice when you're trying to have an LLM create an image or a graphic or an infographic, the LLM, first of all, still doesn't get the text right. Second of all, it cannot keep consistency. So it does produce something that can give you a guideline, but it doesn't produce a finished product. And even if it produces a finished product, it doesn't stick to the consistency that you need to portray when you're online. Also, you brought up copywriting, which is super relevant to me because excellent copywriting is psychology, which means knowing the audience, which means context, which means positioning basically. And if there's one thing that even ChatGPT O1 preview or now O1 sucks at, is getting that full context and turning it into content that can actually trigger a behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree with you. And it's first our own strategy, so human or marketer strategy that has to come first. And then, as you mentioned, your ICP and your brand, your brand's tones of voice and your audience, then you can create something valuable. But without those inputs, these outputs are useless from AI. And similar, actually, you mentioned also about design. So I know the creative agency here in Frankfurt, they use a lot of AI as well with production Midjourney. But to achieve this quality, I mean, you look at these campaigns at the end, they are amazing. But even to prompt Midjourney in a way, you have to have a sort of creative thinking already. Because, I mean, each of us can prompt something like, create me a person with a product or, something very simple. But these people, they have this creative mindset, and the way they prompt these tools, it's a completely different story. And obviously they do not just take the final output and use it in an advertising campaign. They then add many layers on top of also manual editing. And again, it has to be aligned then with the brand, with the clients they work on, with their own strategy. So there are so many steps where the human involvement is required, starting from strategy and actually ending with the review and adjustments and amendments. So I believe the roles will change slightly, or the marketers as well, roles, descriptions, but it will be there. There won't be less marketers in the future.
I agree. Given the audience of this podcast, mostly small business owners or CEOs,
Mm.
some of them tend to overestimate what AI can do. And it's good to have somebody like you here telling us that marketing is not going away. AI cannot replace a marketer. It can just enhance a marketer, meaning to create those prompts you were mentioning that create the right type of image, you do need the knowledge and the expertise of somebody that has mastered their craft, and that cannot be replaced by a language model. At least not now. At least not until we get maybe AGI, if ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. And even again, like those designers, for example, for me, I'm not a designer. I don't know all the art styles that have ever been there or all the possible lighting that can go there, but you need all of these details to actually craft something that it does not look like AI.
Yes. And stay on topic. You're a marketing consultant, and what are the challenges you solve for clients in 2024? What are the mistakes you see clients making that they can probably or absolutely fix by hiring you?
Yeah, thank you for this question. So I'm marketing and AI consultant. So what I help clients with is rather to optimize their marketing processes or sales processes. For example, for one client, what I did is developing a system, automated system to pre-qualify leads on their website. So basically, when someone comes to the website, there is a chatbot, and then the person goes through several questions about employer branding. And then at the end, after answering the question, basically AI provides the analysis, which is sent per email about what are the next steps for this company, already like a short summary and needs identification. And then it also suggests to book a call then with the agency if it's a right type of lead, if it's really something that they can help them with. So, and these kind of things, these are more again related to marketing automation, and they just help massively reduce the amount of time spent by basically by the human employees, and also increase quality at some parts.
Great overview. Thank you for that. Let's talk about mix and match. How, for people who don't know in the audience, I'm a fashion freak. I love clothing. I love style. It's the Italian part. But how did you come to mix and match, to the idea? How did you develop it? Tell us the story.
Yeah, thank you. I actually joined the team. So my co-founder is Xenia Dockhorn. She's ex-McKinsey and fashion tech innovator as well. And she actually excited me about this idea. She's been working on it for a few months, and then I joined the team in June this year, so like rather half a year ago. And so the idea behind Mix and Match is to make shopping easier, or to make product discovery easier, or to make even like styling easier. If you think about it today, if you go to a website to buy something for you, you'd have to go through many filters for setting things up, like color, size. Maybe there are many different sizes. Sometimes it's S, sometimes it's like 36, sometimes it's something different. Then you'd have to choose maybe fabric as well. Then even if you set up these filters, you still have like hundreds of pages to go through to find something you want. And maybe you click on it and then it's not available then in your sites. So something like this happens nowadays still. So it's super inefficient, the whole process. And then we saw the huge opportunity, and everybody's talking about it right now. Currently, the new report of McKinsey and Business of Fashion also went up a few weeks ago. So everybody's talking about it, that consumers are actually irritated and frustrated with the whole search experience, which drives them obviously to just leave the website, don't make a purchase, or make any purchase, and then at the end realize after they get an order that it's not what they wanted after all. It's very unpersonalized and it's super inefficient, the whole experience. And we want to change that. So we want to start with the consumer first, basically with the needs, with the size, with the preferences, with the style, and offer you a conversational experience with AI. So you can start by searching, for example, a blue shirt, cotton shirt, or a blue cotton shirt for a business casual meeting. And what we do not just provide you the items, but we provide you the whole look. So you get as well like the different types of blue shirts that fit in your query and fit in your personal style or preferences, but you also get a complementary items or actually the whole look to wear it with. And this is the direction also I see fashion is going in the next few years.
I love it, especially because there is two sides, two types of consumer in this case. There is somebody like me who knows their style and just gets very picky, and if I don't find what I want on a clothing brand on a website, I just get frustrated and leave. And then there's the other side, which is a good idea that you open this company in Germany, which is styling. A lot of people don't know how to style themselves. A lot of people don't know how to mix and match colors, too,
Yeah.
pun intended. So I think I told you this story. I have a friend who once, after spending some time with me, told me, bro, for the first, since I met you, ever since I met you, I had never seen clothing as nothing else than something to cover your naked body. And then I met you, and I understand that it's something to send a message, to make a statement. And that's a funny thing, but it's something that I do feel many people tend to fall into. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I guess, as you mentioned in Germany, it's not that maybe common to look into, I don't know, like how do I style myself? Although many people do, but as you mentioned, you see many people just like wearing clothes without actually wearing them to make a statement. But we do make statement if we want or not, right? You still make an impression, and especially this first impression when you meet someone, whether it's a business meeting or networking or even a date, you do make impression with your whole self, right? And the clothing also belongs to this, obviously. And and maybe the biggest part is that of course there are people like you who are interested also like to understand um, how to match different colors and what suits you best and what do you want to um, tell with your clothes to the world. But there are people who just don't have time or not so interested. But what we want is to give everyone and everybody the opportunity to actually to feel confident and love the way they look without making an effort to read every day a new blog about what's trending or how to wear different colors or styles, how to combine them. But it must be more natural, and then everybody is happy. So the brands are happy and the consumers are happy because they just love how they look and they don't spend 2 hours in the mornings thinking, well, what should I wear with the closet full of clothes.
I like it. Look great effortlessly. That should be a tagline, actually. I just wrote that
Yeah.
down. It's it's a great mission that you just stated. I love it. So tell me more about the vision. I just mentioned mission, tell me more about the vision. Where do you want to take this company in, say, 5 years?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. So our vision is to become a Google for fashion. And what I mean by it is that we want you to take your digital profile or your digital styling twin with all your sizes, preferences, maybe existing wardrobe, everywhere you go. So if you go to, let's say, one website, e-retailer, or another marketplace, or a sort of brand, a certain brand, we want you to have your profile and be able to sign in with your mix and match profile everywhere you go. So basically take these preferences with you and take this experience with you.
I
So
love that.
that's the big question. Yeah.
I love that. What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now in expanding this brand?
Yeah, I would say it's the technology first. So we are actually pioneers in search and looks. we are monitoring the competitors, and there are many competitors in space. So, for example, offering some complementary items, or there are competitors offering like a virtual try-on, or there are competitors with like image search for specific items. And what we do is basically you say, hey, I want a business casual outfit for a podcast recording, and then it gives you the complete look already, or many variations of the complete look, which in the future you can also combine with from your existing clothes and new clothes. So this is something quite unique on the market, and we monitor competitors. We don't see it yet. But the biggest challenge, I guess, first, it's technology. We already have it. And as you mentioned, we are going live next month. But you have to always think on how to be even better. And you have to be fast, right? Because any day there might be another competitor appearing in this space. And the whole fashion tech space now is quite crowded. It's going to, like we know also from the reports, that companies are investing more and more. I think in 2021, it was rather like 1% of revenue invested in tech fashion companies. By 2030, it's going to be like 4%. So the market is expanding, which means more and more competitors are coming, which means that we have to be first fast, and then also very, very good. So we don't want to give you a bad experience, right? We want to give the amazing experience. And especially going now also into B2B direction. So we are launching the platform. It's like a public showcase where users can as well, each of you can go and search for clothes and buy something, or search for looks and buy. But we also want to offer this experience as a white label solution to the brands. And for the brands, for the fashion brands, it's so what we realized from talking to them is that if it's like a plugin on the website, on the e-commerce site, that many consumers do not even click on it, right? If there is a normal search, normal filters, and like mix and match search, it's not something that consumers want, and it's not something that brands want. So we're actually trying not to, and we have the talks with first piloting partners now, we're trying to make it invisible. And I think that's also a big challenge, because we try to integrate our search within their existing platform. So for the end consumers, they will not even see that something has changed. So they just like have, normal view of the website, of the e-commerce website. But when they search, it's a natural language search, or it's also search in looks. But without actually being a separate plugin where you have click or separate chatbot. Probably you know these AI fashion assistants now. They're on a few websites, but it's like in a chat based, and then many people still don't come there because it's another user journey. People are not used to it, so it's hard to change the habits. So I think you asked about challenges. So challenge of being fast, having high quality, and also being like, I think that's the biggest one, like this high quality of these integrations or the look suggestions, and being fast and first on the market.
So would you say that either now or at some point soon, your biggest competitive advantage will be the IP behind the tech?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which leads me to asking you, if I put myself in the shoes of somebody managing a big clothing brand, and I see this, and I see you coming in with Xenia, and you put this product on my table, that could become a competitive advantage for the person that gets it first once the tech is mature enough. So have you considered the possibility that a fashion brand could just acquire you, and would you accept that? Or would you pursue the vision of being everywhere?
Thank you. Well, our vision is bigger for now, in a way that we want to actually stay independent. And also with going first and looking for B2B partners first, we want to actually at the same time develop our B2C user base. So we are not going completely away from the idea of having this whole, digital styling twin experience, and you having the profile the mix and match profile with your preferences and styles and size and everything else. So we still want to, because we see actually huge potential behind it. I mean, it's a great thing to be integrated into the brand website, obviously for the bottom line, but we still want to stay independent and actually, follow this vision of becoming Google profession, or offering you this single sign-on experience, or personalized shopping experience everywhere you go.
Love it. Reminds me of that story where back in the day, Yahoo offered to buy Facebook from Mark Zuckerberg. And it was some insane number. And he said, no, we're going to pursue the vision of becoming like the Facebook. And he did it. So sometimes that is the right path. So how are you getting traction from B2C users?
Yeah, good question. So for B2C users, we have basically good visibility on LinkedIn. For now, we did not put a lot of investment on the marketing side, so it has been organic for B2C users. Again, like I have a big audience interested in different AI solutions, or getting invited to podcasts, or getting featured in some newsletters and so on. Also obviously with mix and match, because it's a fashion tech, AI and fashion, AI stylist. So this gives us already visibility for B2C users. We are now planning to start the pre-seed round and hopefully raise our first pre-seed investment. And with this money, we then will be able to also invest in the marketing, like in influencer partnerships and so on, to develop more the B2C side. But again, it's been a bit like deprioritized, and now we are actually focusing first for B2B, looking for B2B customers. And there as well, LinkedIn, we have we launched a newsletter on LinkedIn as well for fashion businesses. And we are very active there as well in this space. We go to many different events in the e-commerce space, wherever we see and can go, where we actually meet the people who are decision makers in their companies, also fashion companies. And then what I loved so far is that when we pitch them the solution, then they're all actually very excited about it. So we see very good chances there.
Yes, there is a use case. I mean, as I mentioned, there is the use case for people, whether they know their style or don't. And for B2B brands, this sounds like an opportunity for upsells, meaning somebody comes from your website, they want one item, but then if they have your search function integrated and it's seamless, the person just gets suggestions from stuff that matches their style, and it creates a great outfit from the same brand. So you could actually turn one transaction into 5 transactions just by implementing a search tool.
Absolutely. And that's that's one of the goals, but also to make it more, I don't want to say sustainable, but make it more conscious maybe, because if you buy separate items, and maybe one item on this website, another item on this website, and again, you mentioned that not everyone is aware about how to combine the clothes, how to mix and match the clothes. So at the end, you have maybe 5 different items from 5 different shops, and you don't know how to, and they don't get combined together, or they're not really matching with your rest of the wardrobe. So we want to give as well the tool to the end consumers to see already before buying, okay, does it look good? Like, does it match together? And we also want to go a step further and offer later the virtual try-on experience. So you can upload the photo and actually see how it's going to look like on you. Like, you already will be able to see, okay, does it look good together? And does it actually like suit me, this form? So these are it's both, I think, for brands, it's a value add, and for the end users. And what we also,
You anticipated my question. I was about to ask about if you were going to introduce virtual try-ons. So you will at some point. That's great.
We will. So we are working on it right now. It's the technology already exists, and I mean, it's also some companies offer an open showcase where you can upload your photo and see like one item, for example, or upload a photo of the item and of yourself and see how it looks like on you. The complexity comes where you have the whole outfit with accessories and with footwear and maybe with the bag. It's not then so easy to do it like all together in once and looking not just like it was AI generated, but actually making sure you keep the proportions. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just, okay, we're going to show you the nice looking look, but we're also going to show you the not very nice looking look if it does not really fit you. You know what I mean? Like if you have a different fit, so the consumers also are able to see, like, do I even need this clothes, or maybe I should look for something different?
I like that. I didn't think about it, but the proportions issue is actually relevant. I'm curious of how you're gonna fix that actually. It's gonna be interesting to see this app develop.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We are excited ourselves. So it's again a technology behind it. So basically, when you upload the photo of yourself, AI should be able to pick it up, actually your measurements and your proportions. So it's not, again, it's not just the generated AI generated image, but actually the image that picks up as well your proportions. So analyzes first how big you are, how long maybe your hands are, if they're like longer than usual, how are you slim fit, or what body shape you have, and so on, and whether it's going to fit you or not. So that's the vision behind it as well.
Back in 2021, I had an idea for a fashion tech solution actually. I'd never said this to anyone, and much less on the show,
Cool.
but it was about picking up somebody's proportions. And I talked about this with a cloud consultant that was specialized in cloud software. Turns out that the key there is that the AI should have a point of comparison, something that has known measures that the AI can use to easily just measure everything else against it and create a more precise estimate.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there are already solutions on the market. Actually, they do it, and you probably heard of Size, which is also a Berlin-based startup. They do like a 3D models of the body also to make this fitting experience better. But we believe there is again more potential behind it, and AI is getting better and better, which means that later you don't have to actually mm, do a 3D model of you, but there will be easier ways as well to actually look at these proportions and measure them and offer the solution there.
What is your favorite thing about the fashion industry?
I guess that it's changing very quickly. So it's never boring. I think from different sides, right? We know that the fashion, if you just think about fashion, it changes because there is every season there is something new. This is also the space that we want to look at the different trends and trends predictions, because obviously it's like if you just look at something like Google Trend data and you see that for the past few weeks people were searching for sparkling or sparkles because it's a New Year's season upcoming, and or they were searching for suede because it's a trend now. But I think next season it's already a different trend, like velvet or corduroy and so on, corduroy. So it's an exciting space to be in, but also from the fashion tech again, like, or actually the AI input in it, it's also super exciting because it really is what's currently happening, or the whole technology development. It literally revolutionizes fashion if you think about it. The whole experience, it's not just the product discovery, what we are focusing on, it's also the social commerce, right? It's also how people even discover clothes. It's also more how to engage customers with fashion, right? And there are so many. It's really exciting space to be in, and a very exciting time as well. I think for 10 years ago, or it was not like that. It was more traditional, but now it's really the industry's being disrupted by AI technology. And I think exactly like those also fashion brands who are now jumping on the train, they will survive and others might not. yeah, also because of Gen Z and because of different, generation and demands. And obviously, I did not mention the sustainability topic, which is huge as well. And again, like Gen Z consumers, but also consumers are more aware about everything. And now also with the digital passports introduction. So basically, each product we will in European Union probably will have to have sort of digital passport. Basically, you can then scan your blazer and see where it came from, how it was produced. So basically, each item has then its own story, which is also from marketing side super interesting how it's going to develop. It's also nice like storytelling. Like you're not just selling, fabrics, you're selling like a story behind each item, which is nice. But also from sustainability perspective, it's going to be a huge change and a huge pressure as well on the brands to have more sustainable practices, which will put them as well in the interesting position, I would say. Like they will have to innovate in a different aspects.
I never made that connection between digital passport and product stories, but now that you mention it, I kind of got excited because if you're a luxury brand and you're sourcing your products from, let's say, a very specific manufacturer in Italy that has a 200-year tradition, you can build an entire brand story just out of your supply chain, basically.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it makes then also like every purchase more unique, right? And we're not talking anymore about just like buying clothes, more clothes and more clothes, especially if you live in Europe or in Germany, it's not typically the mindset people have. It's rather about buying something that again, like either emphasizes your style or something that is aligned with your values. Again, like it can be sustainability or it can be more like it can be just like to show up, I don't know, or not being more unique than others or being different. So I think here people are more focused on that. And solutions also like digital passports, it will be an interesting turnaround for brands.
Given everything we've discussed, would you say that physical clothing stores will become less ubiquitous over the next 10 years? People will prefer to just have virtual try-ons, or do you think they will still be very relevant to the shopping experience?
I think it will be still very relevant. And it's again the thing that in the AI age or even during the pandemic, we'll notice, or after pandemic, that people crave connection. So I think it's going to stay anyway, and but the experience will be different, right? So we also see that now digital mirrors appear in the stores, so you don't even have to try the clothes to try it. You know what I mean? You can just stay in front of this mirror and virtually try again something like a sneakers and see how it looks like on your feet. What we want to offer as well is sort of digital experience where, for example, consumers enter, let's say, big outlets, outlet village, and often it's huge, right? You don't know where to go. You don't even have an actual plan. You just want to buy, like clothes maybe for better prices and get a better deal. And we want to actually take a photo of the person and also suggest them personalized outfits from things available in the outlet village. And maybe also send it per email so people have like a map and the looks, and they know where to go, what to buy, and then it's more efficient. The whole experience is it's more efficient, but it's also more personalized. It's also better for the brands. It's better for end consumers. And you don't spend the whole day in this outlet at the end thinking like, what did I do like last 5 hours? But you actually have the direction and the clear guideline where to go, and it's going to look good on you. So this is something we're exploring currently with mixNmatch. And and again, I mentioned Gen Z. So we see also in some reports that Gen Z still prefers, although it's a super digital native generation, but still many, for example, go in the retail stores, or even like older generations, they still like to touch things. Or even if you think about Christmas shopping, people still want to go to the stores because it's also nicely decorated, and it's maybe like a tradition then to go and purchase maybe even some presents for your family. It just makes it more meaningful if you go to this nicely looking store than if you just buy it online.
I agree. I think the physical shopping experience is an experience that you will never replicate online, even if you were to put on the best, biggest, or smartest headset. But there is one question that just came into my mind as you were speaking, which is big clothing brands can easily develop, not even develop, can easily allocate the budget towards digitalization and innovation to adopt a solution like Mix and Match. Now, how do you think smaller clothing brands can survive and compete in a market where sooner or later we will have clothing brands that start innovating extensively?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think I don't even have I don't know if it's a right or wrong answer. On the one hand, smaller brands, they might need to look for strategies to be more meaningful to consumers and to connect more emotionally with them, right? So like to again, we're coming back to the marketing side or brand side, even like having a story behind your brand or being actually looking after each of your customers. And this connection part, I think this is something that smaller brands can do much better than bigger brands. That's where they have the advantage. And telling this story and being again like having each item that they produce being very unique and and again with the story, I think that's the advantage will be, because obviously big brands, as you mentioned, they can implement the tech and it's easy, but the bigger brands also feel more distant to consumers often, and they are not. I would not say they don't care about. Of course, everybody cares about the loyal customers, but I guess for smaller brands, it's the unique opportunity to even like stand out much more than in this way.
I agree, and I do see smaller brands, if they have to invest in anything, probably it would be the digital product passports because a small brand has a big opportunity the moment they turn niche and maybe a little bit luxury or high end, where the bigger margins allow you to tell a bigger story, create better products, and then you can just loyalize customers that way. For example, I was in Sicily in May and I found this small Sicilian store in Palermo in the center of the city that
Mm-hmm.
sold beautiful, beautiful suits. And I wanted to buy the entire fucking store. And even if you put in front of me stuff from Hugo Boss, brand that I love, I would still pick that small store over there because, the experience, the environment, and everything. So if a brand like that went niche and high end, they would increase margins and they would probably find ways to loyalize customers like me. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, what I believe is that these brands, smaller fashion labels, they are aware of their position and they might not have this huge budget to invest in tech. But again, then they have to put more on this quality side, also on the connection side. They must see like the personal who actually sits in the store in this boutique. Maybe it is an owner, maybe not, but they have to make sure that this person who talks to the actual customer is let's say can establish the connection and is is representing the brand. I think it's very important. And also something interesting I heard from the other day is that actually like what you mentioned, that you purchased it or you wanted to purchase it in Sicily, and also like when talking about shopping experience, not just experience to buy something to cover your your body, but if talking about it as a more meaningful experience, then even if you buy something from the smaller stores with a story, right? Or if you buy something when you travel, like you to Sicily or somewhere else, then it already has automatically the experience or the story, and the whole experience is different because each time you wear then the suit, you're going to remember maybe your nice Sicily time. So it makes it also different, right? It's not the same as you buy online from a huge retailer and then get it delivered to your home.
I find it fascinating. You mentioned a few minutes ago that in the AI age, people crave connection. And I find fascinating how AI is automating everything, which as a result is driving people to want better customer experiences, to want to have communities instead of just social media. It's to some extent, it's like AI is driving us into the future by connecting us to what human nature still craves. How do you see that?
Yeah, it's a very interesting statement, and I think it makes total sense for me. So even coming a bit away from fashion, right? We know that there are many possibilities in different businesses to be automated, or there are many things that will get automated eventually in a few years, maybe in 5 or 10 years. But then what's going to stay there again, it's this social connection. And many people have been talking, I think, past year or 2 years about, predicting huge layoffs and so on, and with AI. But then at the end, there will be, again, things and tasks that get automated, but there will be things that will not. And these things are usually require the social interaction. So if you think, I read a book a few months ago also about the future predictions of AI, and exactly the jobs that involve social connection, human interaction, they're not going to be going anywhere. But the jobs that are more involving some automatic, I don't know, calculation analysis, something behind the closed doors, they will be automated. So yes, coming to your questions, absolutely. So the human aspect will be even more important. And yeah, in the AI era.
See, the value proposition of this show keeps being just true. Now, as we approach the end of the episode, question for you. What are your favorite fashion brands?
Okay, that's a good one. I like COS and Massimo Dutti.
Great. Good taste. Listen,
Thank you.
do you have a message? Let's put it this way. I want you to make two statements. One for your B2C audience, people looking into improving their style, and one for the B2B audience. In the case that somebody that owns a clothing brand is watching this, what would you say? So let's start with the first one. What would you say to somebody that's looking into either improving their style or finding their style?
Okay, that's a tough one. I would say think before you make a purchase. I would not say go and make photos of your wardrobe and digitalize everything, and so be very thorough about it, but just try to be more conscious. And before buying, think whether what you're going to buy is first suit you personally or reflects your personality, but also be would be used in your wardrobe more than once a month. So this is, I think, my advice for B2C audience. Is something I also tell into myself always, and it's the practice that I always do as well. Because there are many, obviously now there was a Black Friday just a week ago, and there are many triggers that you see that you want to buy, but then when you think about it, like, do I really need it? Will I wear it more than once? Then the answer might be no. Then better don't buy, right? So this is for the B2C audience. And for the B2B audience, I would say, yeah, stay hungry and innovate, because AI is disrupting industry. It's everywhere. We read it in every report, in every market research study, and just don't get left behind. Innovate, and and you will be then also successful in the long term.
I love that. I would add, as I always tell to my clients, just obsess over your customers. That's
Yeah,
how
right.
you truly innovate, and that's how you actually survive. If you obsess over them more than they obsess over themselves, challenging but possible, then you will still have a business in the coming 10 years.
Yeah, amazing statement. You're right.
Valeria, thank you so much for being on the show. Wait. I forgot one question. I just read it here. Your LinkedIn presence. You built a pretty big LinkedIn presence. You have an engaged audience. When did that start and how did you make it happen?
Thank you. So I started a year ago posting on LinkedIn. Again, I wanted to share my experiences with generative AI, with different prompts or later different automation solutions that I actually created or implemented for businesses. And yeah, what I love about LinkedIn is also the community. So we are coming to people again. So it's not just to post for the sake of like likes, but it's actually the community and the people there and the people that your post or what you say is actually valuable, either in terms of helping their business or in terms of bringing them new insights. I think it kept motivating me to just also produce content on a regular basis and engage with others. So it was a very, let's say, natural growth.
What do you recommend to somebody who's starting out on LinkedIn and they see you and they think to themselves, hey, I also want what she has. How can they, I don't say replicate, how can they apply some principles to achieve a similar result?
Yeah. So one of them, it's a consistency. So even like the first months might be hard or the first weeks because you will not see that a high of an engagement, but staying consistent, actually not falling out for a month or two, but posting something every week, every 2 weeks is good. And you can start obviously with a lower number of, let's say, posts. Second is a connection. In connection, I mean that not just for example, posting step-by-step guides or not just educational content, but also uncovering your personality and showing some personal stories. So it's how you connect with others and community. So not just also post and ghost, so to say. There is, but engage on other posts. Also support others in your niche, and eventually you will see people will reciprocate. They will support you back. And that's how you build also this engagement and the community.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was the really last question. Coming to the end, where can people find more about you, about your content, and about Mix and Match?
Yeah, about me on LinkedIn page, and there you can also follow mixNmatch. LinkedIn, we offer as well a lot of insights into fashion tech industry, and yeah, and we are going live in January, so stay tuned. I will be also posting about it on LinkedIn, and yeah, and look forward to seeing you on our platform.
Good. I think then, given that you're launching in Germany, I will move this on the podcast schedule to make it the first podcast of the year. Let's open 2025 talking about fashion. Valeria, thank you so much for taking the time and being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you on. People, this was the Tech of Tomorrow podcast with Sebastian Hidalgo. I am Sebastian Hidalgo. Please follow, subscribe, leave a rating, keep supporting the show. I've been getting great feedback. I've been having great guests, a ton of fun. So, see you in the next episode. And thanks for listening. Go to Mix and Match. Improve your fashion style, please. That's it. See you in the next episode.